before we are discussing any viruses, we have some basic introductory points. No matter whatever the virus is, can anyone say the introductory points? We need to write introduction, then classification, then morphology, then sample collection, cultivation. No. After morphology, you need to write morphology. Then you should write pathogenesis. Yes, sir. Sorry, cultivation. Then pathogenesis. Then you need to write clinical symptoms and signs. Then you need to write lab diagnosis. Any change in this? Then after lab diagnosis, you need to write about prophylaxis. Then you need to write about the treatment. Okay? So these are the basic points that we need to cover in all viruses. Coming to the morphology, in the morphology you need to discuss about its size, structure, presence or absence of annular, then symmetry, is it icosahedral, helical or complex, then you need to discuss about its any viral specific proteins. That you need to discuss here. Then in the cultivation you need to write how we can cultivate it. Okay? In the cell lines or in the tissues. Then in the cultivation itself you need to write detection, cytopathic effects and inclusion bodies. You can detect inclusion bodies and cytopathic effects in the after cultivation of virus, right? Then you need to discuss about its pathogenesis. In the pathogenesis you will write about it. It's a target organ, everything. Then you can write its clinical symptoms, both signs and symptoms in the patients. Then you can go for lab diagnosis. In the lab diagnosis, tell me the points, students. Sample collection, direct microscopic techniques, calculation techniques, then detection of virus. Then you can go for serological tests. Then a detection of antigens by ELISA. Then molecular tests. Okay, then you will go with prophylaxis. What is prophylaxis? Vaccination. It can be live vaccine or field vaccine. Then you will go with treatment. So these points you need to cover for each and every virus. Okay. So coming to the next virus, currently we are in the unit 4. So in the unit 4, we have rhinovirus. So let me show you the syllabus. So in the unit 4, we have poliovirus. Do we discuss about poliovirus? No, right? Do we discussed polio? Yes. Then do we discussed about rhinovirus? No. So from today onwards, I will discuss about rhinovirus, influenza, rabies, arbo and measles and MMR square. Okay, measles, mumps, rubella and HIV. So these things I will try to cover for the next coming week. Okay. So today I will discuss in detail about rhinovirus. Before discussing about rhinovirus, can anyone say the family of polio and rhinovirus? Yes. Which family does the poliovirus belongs to? Picornaviridae. In the Picornaviridae, how many genus we have? We have 5 genus in Picornaviridae. Can anyone say? Enteroviruses. Just a second. Just a second. In the Picornaviridae, we have enteroviruses, paraecoviruses, hepatoviruses, and cardioviruses. These are the 5 genuses in this family. In these 5 genuses, our poliovirus belongs to the enterogenous family. That means this poliovirus will cause infection first in the intestine, then it will go to the spinal cord. Okay, it is an intestinal mediated virus. Okay, in the intestinal viruses, we have 4 classes. Okay, human enterovirus A, B, C, D. Among these 4 classes, our poliovirus belongs to the class C. Okay, poliovirus belongs to class C, whereas rhinovirus belongs to class D. In the class D, you will find rhinovirus. Can anyone switch it on again? Anyone, please. Okay. Now I will tell. Listen, class. Is it? No, it didn't. Akash or anyone. Why always Akash? Next time, Shahrukh should switch it on. Okay. Akash, wait. Switch it. No. Okay. Thank you. You can see light there. Yeah. Okay, class, quiet. Anand, what are you doing, Anand? Best student. Comment. Okay. If something is there. Huh? Okay. Okay. So enough. So listen, students, very simple. You already know RNA viruses, right? You know the families, you know paramyxo, rhabdo, retro, orthomyxo, everything. Then you have species, PCS per MMR cube, right? IMX, poliovirus, corona, rhino, rota, measles, mumps, rubella, rabies, influenza, HIV, right? So all these are RNA viruses. Currently, we are discussing about rhinovirus. Previously, we discussed polio, then we are going to the rhinovirus. Okay? Since polio and rhino share same family, the properties will be same. Okay, both are enteroviruses. That means they will enter into our body through orophageal route. By contaminated food, they will enter into our body. Usually, enteroviruses will enter into our body by contaminated food. Okay? Shadab, that is Shadab virus. Okay. So as I said, no matter whatever the virus is, you need to satisfy all the 10 points. These are the 10 points that I discussed. Yes, Mr. Prince. Now I understood why you are getting less marks. Okay. See. So rhinoviruses. So listen to me very carefully. These viruses will cause common cold. You know, right? You will say silly excuses, sir. I was cold. I got cold yesterday. That is why I was absent. Right? So that cold will occur because of this rhinovirus. Rhinoviruses will cause common cold in the people. Okay? Most of the common cold occurs because of rhinovirus. Now there is a catch point. Usually you will get cold in summer or in the winter. You will get cold mostly in the summer or in the winter. Tell me, students. In the winter, right? Usually it will come in the winter. And there is a reason. There is a reason why you will get cold in the winter. The thing is, class, the favorite temperature or the ideal optimal temperature for the replication of rhinovirus is 33 degrees centigrade. What is our body's temperature? 37 degrees centigrade. But due to environmental factors, our body temperature will alter. Okay, so the favorite temperature for rhinovirus is 33. So in the winter season, there is a high chance of getting viral fever, especially the rhinoviral cold, because body temperature will fluctuate. It will drop. It will increase and it will drop. That is the reason we will get cold in winter season. Okay, because of reduced temperature, the virus will start replicating in our body. Okay. Other than rhinovirus, we have other viruses that will cause common cold. I will tell those viruses also. So write a side heading, viruses that will cause common cold. Viruses that will cause common cold. Viruses causing common cold. Write all these viruses. Rhinoviruses, coronaviruses, respiratory syncytial viruses, virus, parainfluenza virus, then ECHO, echo virus. Echo virus means, write the full form. Echo stands for enteric cytopathic human orphan virus. Enteric cytopathic human, yes, full form of echo. Enteric cytopathic human orphan virus. ORPHAN, orphan virus. Okay. So this virus will cause, these are the viruses that will cause common cold. Interestingly, even coronaviruses are common cold viruses, but this variant is slightly fatal. Anyway, then write introduction of rhinovirus, everyone. Introduction of rhinovirus. Introduction to rhinovirus. Rhinovirus will cause common cold. Rhinovirus will cause common cold. Its target organ is nose. Target site of replication is nose. Target site of replication is nose. Favorable temperature. Favorable temperature is around 33 degrees centigrade. Favorable temperature is around 33 degrees centigrade. Optimum pH. You stand there. Four of you stand there. Then you can go outside. You can stand there and take your notes and write. Take your notes, write it. Stand there itself. Optimal pH is around 3 to 5. Optimal pH is 3 to 5. Class white. Optimal pH 3 to 5. Okay. So the signs and symptoms of common cold you already know, right? You will get headache, mild fever, nasal congestion, vomiting sensation, loss of appetite, sneezing and sore throat. So these are the common signs and symptoms of rhinoviral infection or cold. Quite. Okay. So these are the signs and symptoms of cold. Okay. Then next, directly write the classification. Classification, write bullet points. Rhinovirus belongs to the family Picornaviridae. Rhinovirus belongs to the family Picornaviridae. To the genus Enterovirus. Why rhinovirus belongs to the family Picornaviridae. To the genus Enterovirus. To the class human enterovirus D. To the class human enterovirus D. Or you can also write like this. Picornaviridae, then you can write enterovirus, then human enterovirus D. Okay, even that is fine for me. Okay. It belongs to the class human enterovirus C. Belongs to the class human enterovirus C. D. Family, genus, class. These are the techniques I was expecting in your answer sheets. Rather than writing the paragraph, you can write a flowchart like this. You know, Picornaviridae, and you mentioned family, then you mentioned genus and class. Then I can understand easily. Then directly here you can keep rhinovirus. The very simple way of representing, right? Kushi. Next, morphology. Okay, write this important point here in the classification. There are totally 100 serotypes or 100 strains of rhinovirus. There are totally 100 strains. So far for corona, we saw 3 to 4 variants. Delta variant, those 4 variants, okay? Like that, rhinovirus has 100 variants. If we have 100 variants, is it possible to make 100 vaccines for a single virus? Can we make 100 individual vaccines for a single virus? That means just for getting common cold vaccine, you need to take 100 vaccines. Is it possible? So whoever the virus, if the virus has multiple species or multiple variants, it will be really challenging to make a vaccine. Vaccine is not possible for such viruses. Thankfully, coronavirus is not a highly variant virus. It is a stable virus. Okay. Like this, for influenza, we have around 600 variants. For HIV, we have around 4,000 to 10,000 variants. So it is really challenging to make vaccines for HIV or influenza. The reason why there is no vaccines for some viruses, because this is the reason. They have more variants. Clear? Why some viruses don't have vaccines? Morphology. Write the morphology, everyone. In the morphology, directly write the bullet point. Size. Everyone write these points. In the morphology, write the side headings. Size. Size 22 to 30 nanometers or 30 nanometers. Size 30 nanometers. Symmetry, icosahedral. Symmetry, icosahedral. Shape, spherical. Symmetry, icosahedral. Icosahedral. Shape, spherical. Genome, single stranded RNA. Spherical. Genome, single stranded RNA. Viral specific proteins. VP1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Okay, there are 4 viral specific proteins. Single stranded RNA. Genome, single stranded RNA. Envelope absent. Envelope absent. Optimum temperature for replication. Right there itself. Huh? Envelope is absent. Okay, I just got envelope. Then capsomers. Capsomers are 60 capsomers. This is same for polio also. 60 capsomers are present. Their virus specific proteins you already wrote. VP1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Then next slide heading. Susceptibility and resistance. What are the 5 points? Yes, sir. Same points. Symmetry, icosahedral, size, genome. Size, genome, symmetry, shape, everything same. Capsomer 60, right? Next side heading, susceptibility and resistance. Next side heading, susceptibility and resistance. Susceptibility and resistance. Okay. Susceptibility and resistance. In the right first point in susceptibility, they can be destroyed at 3 to 5. They can be destroyed at a pH of 3 to 5. They can be destroyed at a pH of 3 to 5. They can be destroyed at a pH of 3 to 5. They can grow at 33 degrees centigrade. Okay, they can grow at 33 degrees centigrade. Ideal temperature, in the bracket ideal temperature. Okay, ideal temperature for the growth of virus is 33 degrees centigrade. Okay, then keep star and write it. Total serotypes of rhinovirus. Total serotypes of rhinovirus 113. Serotypes means variants. Okay. Total serotypes of rhinovirus 113. 113 serotypes. That means there are totally 113 individual subspecies of rhinoviruses. Okay, 113. Total serotypes of rhinovirus 113, 113. Okay, fine. Then cultivation. Next side heading, cultivation of rhinovirus. Cultivation. Virus, in it, write bullet points. It can be cultivated in, it can be cultivated in, it can be cultivated in one, monkey cell culture, monkey cell culture. Only that is enough. Keep arrow like this, okay? Monkey cell culture. Then keep like this and write it. Cytopathic effects will be observed in the presence of good oxygen supply. Cytopathic effects can be observed in the presence of good oxygen supply. Can be observed in the presence of good oxygen supply. Why oxygen supply? Because see, since the virus target is nose, there is a high aeration. So virus was adapted to this environment. So if you are growing this virus in a culture, you need to provide similar environment, similar rich oxygen environment. So virus can easily go. Okay. Then second point, virus can also be cultivated in human nasal or tracheal culture. Human virus can also be cultivated in human cultivated in human tracheal tissue culture. Simply human tracheal. Nicely sit all those four. They sat silently. Huh? Okay. Tracheal. Okay. Tracheal tissue culture. Actually, tracheal organ culture. This is tracheal organ culture. Okay. I'm sorry. Next. Cytopathic effect, right? In the cytopathic effect, right in the bracket, rounding of cells. Rounding of cells can be seen in rhinovirus. Okay. What are the four types of cytopathic effects? Can anyone say? Syncytium formation, cellular necrosis, clumping of cells, rounding of cells. Nothing. Rounding of cells is seen in rhinovirus. Okay. Okay. Next. Pathogenesis. Pathogenesis, write bullet points, everyone. Virus enters, entry of virus through droplets. Entry of virus through droplets. Entry of virus through droplets. Then arrow. Okay. Next point like this. Through droplets. Okay. You can write like this. Entry of virus through droplets. Then keep bullet point. Huh? Contaminated food also. Yes. Slash contaminated food. Slash contaminated food. That means if I sneezed through these droplets, then next person can get common cold because it is viral mediated. Okay. Then next bullet point. Okay. Then replication. Then bullet point. Lymph nodes. Yes. Lymph nodes. Replication. Next point. Lymph nodes. Bullet point. Inflammation in the nose. Inflammation in the nose due to vasodilation. Inflammation in the nose due to vasodilation. Due to vasodilation. Okay. So this is the pathogenesis of rhinovirus. What happens is, these students, see, yes, Eric. Vasodilation means enlargement of blood vessel. Yeah. I will, sir. Okay. Class, listen to me. Everyone listen to me carefully. Everyone listen to me very carefully. Okay. Here I am drawing a Bada nose. Okay, very well. Okay. So this is nose. Okay. Side view like this. Okay. In the nose, you have mucous membranes, right? Like this. You will see the mucous membranes, flaps. Now, in these mucous membranes, how they will produce mucus? By blood supply. So they have many blood vessels like this. Right? We have blood vessels. Now, listen carefully. I got a virus. Virus entered into the nose. Virus entered into the nose, okay? Now it will start replicating in this mucous membrane or in the epithelial cells of the nose. When a virus replicating, will our immune system keeps quiet? No, right? Immediately what will happen? Macrophages will come. They will phagocytic action will happen. Then macrophage. Ultimately, the helper T cells will get activated. Helper T cell will go to two types. Helper T cell 1 and 2. Helper T cell 2 will call cytotoxic T cell. Cytotoxic T cell will come to the site of infection. Now cytotoxic T cell will release histamines. These histamines will cause dilation of the blood vessels. The blood vessels will get dilated. Instead of having thin blood vessels, those blood vessels will become broader. What is the purpose of dilating a blood vessel? If you dilate a blood vessel, you will get more blood supply. If you get more blood supply, you will get more white blood cells to the site of infection. So white blood cells can clear the infection. Okay? At that time, when the blood vessel dilated, the permeability of the blood vessel will be increased. That means there will be high filtration of fluid. More fluid will be filtered in the nasal cavity. More fluid will be discharged from the nose. Why fluid is discharged? Because of vasodilation. Why vasodilation happened? Because of infection. Because of infection, histamines released and released the histamines caused vasodilation, and that is why you got more filtration of fluid in the nose. And that is your discharge. After this, after 5 to 7 days, what will happen? All macrophages will successfully digest the pathogen. There will be high amount of white blood cells in this fluid. Those white blood cells are your yellowish clot in your nose after getting cold. In the beginning, it will be too much slippery. Then after a few days, it will become hard because of accumulation of cells in the fluid. Actually, I'm just discussing about your disgusting thing. I know the cold actually. And that is the actual mechanism of cold. See how much interesting it is. You thought it's just a fluid, but there is a good thing happening in the body. Okay. So getting green color discharge within 7 days indicates you are recovering from cold actually. Okay, that's a good sign. Sometimes what will happen? Ruptured blood vessels may fall. Some of the ruptured blood vessels may shed into the fluid. That is why sometimes you will see threads like red threads in your cold. Have you seen? They are the blood vessels of your nose actually. Okay. So this is the pathogenesis of rhinovirus, to be clear, to be precise. Okay. Now, since there are 100 serotypes, the only thing that we can do is we need to rely on our immune system. Within 7 days, no matter whatever virus, it will clear the virus. And thankfully, there is one interesting thing. Rhinoviruses are friendly viruses. They won't cause host to die. They will just cause inflammation to cells, but there won't be permanent cell death happens by rhinovirus. This mode of adoption was really interesting. This shows a type of symbiotic relationship with host, but usually symbiotic relation is very less among viruses. But somehow our friendly virus, rhinovirus, okay. Uh, so ultimately, the conclusion is, if you are getting cold, even if you are wearing tablets, you will clear the infection only after 1 week. Even in the presence of tablets or in the absence of tablets, you require 1 week to clear from the infection. Okay? You know that saying, if you get common cold, you need to wait for 7 days. There's a saying in Telugu, actually. Yeah. You can't do anything. It will clear by itself. Okay. So that is the reason. Okay. So incubation period is 4 days. Incubation period side heading 4 days. Incubation period 4 days. Incubation period is 4 days. Meanwhile, what will happen when the virus is replicating? Your body temperature will increase. Why does the body temperature increase? Can anyone say the reason? What is the favorite temperature of virus? 30 degrees. Now our body increasing temperature to kill the virus simply. So heat is a body temperature is a good sign of recovery. Okay, it's a part of innate immune system. So that is why you will generate heat and you will get a nasal congestion, sneezing. You will get sneeze reflex because something is blocking your nasal pathway. That's why you will get sneezing. So write the clinical symptoms of cold. This everyone knows. Write the symptoms of cold. These are the symptoms. Symptoms of cold. Sneezing, sore throat, mild cold. You know why you will get mild cold? Because these discharges will go to the trachea. And since it went to the trachea, you will get cough. Okay, mild cough. Sore throat, runny nose, low grade fever and watery eyes. Watery eyes is because virus will start replicating in the area of the lacrimal gland. It will cause a lacrimal gland irritation. There are lacrimal glands within your ear, okay, with the flaps. So since virus-induced immune response will trigger the lacrimal gland to secrete excess fluids. That's it. Okay. Actually, we are the most advanced robots, humans, or any living creature. Really interesting. And lab diagnosis. Write down the lab diagnosis. The isolation of virus. First one is isolation of virus. From where you can isolate this virus? From throat swabs, okay? Nose or throat swabs, or even from nasopharyngeal washings. Nasopharyngeal washings. Yeah. Throat swab, nose swab, or nasopharyngeal washings. Nasopharyngeal washings. Nasopharyngeal washings. Then the right temperature incubation is at 33 degrees centigrade. You need to incubate the sample at 33 degrees centigrade because the reason is viral favorite temperature. Viral favorite temperature. Okay. Then Damon, actually you need not to do all these ELISA tests for common cold. You already know it is common cold, right? So demonstration of antigen by ELISA. Write these points, students, everyone. Write these points. All these 3 points. Write these 3 points, everyone. Demonstration of antigen by ELISA. Demonstration of RNA by PCR. Serological test is not possible because of multiple species. Serological test is not possible, okay? Due to multiplicity of serotypes. Then prophylaxis. No prophylaxis because of presence of more serotypes. That's it. More profile. Then treatment will be cetirizine usually. Cetirizine is an antihistamine. In common cold, we will give cetirizine, right? We can take cetirizine. What cetirizine will do is, it will inhibit the histamine activity. If you inhibit histamines, what the reason for runny nose is because of vasodilation. Vasodilation happens because of histamines. If we give antihistamines such as cetirizine, histamines will be blocked. There won't be vasodilation. There won't be excessive fluid discharge. That is the reason. Okay. So cetirizine is the best treatment. Keep in mind, cetirizine not killing the virus. It is just keeping. It is just relaxing the patient. It is just keeping comfortable to patient. Okay. Virus will be cleared by immune system. There is no antiviral tablets for common cold. Only these tablets are available to keep complications less in the patient. Okay. Cetirizine. So this is nasopharyngeal swab. So nasopharyngeal means you need to, this is pharynx and this is nasal part. This particular location is called nasopharyngeal. Okay. Your COVID samples also taken from here. Now in the COVID we have two types actually. Listen to me, students. Have you heard there are two types of COVID complications? One is patient can't smell anything. That is one complication. Second one is patient can sense the smell, but here he will have chest inflammation. Okay, those who has lack of smell, that is good sign. If you can sense the smell, but you got a chest inflammation, means that is bad. Usually, what happens is first COVID targeting the this olfactory nerve. It is targeting olfactory nerve, and that is why patients losing their sensation of smell. After that, it is going into the trachea. From trachea, it is accessing into the lungs. Okay. So if you identify virus in the beginning, then there is a high chance of saving the patient. Lack of sensation of smell is an indicator for COVID. Okay. This is all about rhinovirus. Okay. So next class we can go to further. Attendance. So thank you very much. Wait, students.